Welcome back to the channel, and for anybody new here, my name is Phil. I'm the ordinary watch guy. I'm perfectly ordinary, but the watches are always special. Today I'm wearing my hang on. Today I'm wearing my Omega Seamaster 40th anniversary James Bond limited edition, which I've put on a North Star mesh bracelet, which is really fantastic. That's something that they're doing that's quite new. I'm going to do a full video on that mesh bracelet later because it's actually really outstanding value. So I'll come back to that. But today, what I wanted to talk about was Nomos. And Nomos are one of the most innovative, modern, high quality brands out there right now. And I'm really glad that they get their recognition. I'm admittedly very slow to this party, but fresh back from my trip to Glashutte, I do get it now. So stay with me because I'm going to do a bit of a brand history. I'm also going to feature an incredible watch, the Weltzeit or World Timer, and they do it in two different configurations, slightly different configurations or presentations. This is genuinely one of the most ingenious watches that I've ever encountered, and it's now available in the Zurich model or in the Club Sport Neomatik World Timer variation. And frankly, it's gorgeous. So I'm really keen to look at that, and I'm going to do that a little bit in this video too. So let's get into it, guys. Glashutte has been synonymous with German watchmaking excellence since the mid-19th century. And while Glashutte is home to a number of legacy brands such as Lange and Zona and Glashutte Original, Nomos Glashutte represents an adjunct and a new chapter. It's a brand that is filled with modernity, minimalist design, and this post-reunification spirit. Nomos was founded in January 1990 by Roland Schwertner, a Dusseldorf-based computer specialist and photographer. Now, the timing is obviously really significant. It came just a couple of months after the Berlin Wall came down. Germany was on the cusp of reunification. It was a huge time of cultural and economic renaissance. And Schwertner saw the potential in Glashutte because of the fact that it had this dormant watchmaking industry. It was a region that had been devastated by collectivization under the GDR era, but it was so rich in heritage and skilled craftsmanship. So Nomos is a brand new company with a clean-cut modernity that's come to define the whole aesthetic and mechanical identity of the watches that it produces. From the beginning, Nomos positioned itself not only as a watchmaker, but as a new influence on the Glashutte design identity. It adopted these modernist principles of the Bauhaus movement: clean lines, simplicity, functionality. Nomos collaborated early on with Susan Gunther, a designer who helped shape the signature look of Nomos's debut model, the Tangente, introduced in 1992. The Tangente has quickly become a brand icon for Nomos, with its thin bezel, angular lugs, crisp typography, and the kind of stark minimalism that we've already spoken about. It echoes all of the Bauhaus era pieces with this cool modern vibe. Initially, Nomos used hand-wound Swiss mechanisms from Etta and Peseux. These were refined and decorated in-house, and it allowed Nomos to offer well-finished watches at relatively accessible prices. And this has always been a big part of the Nomos offer, the accessibility of its watches. However, the company had greater ambitions. It wanted to become a true manufacturer of movements. In the strict regulatory context of Glashutte, only companies that produce at least 50% of the value of their movements locally can use the Made in Glashutte designation. Nomos began moving towards vertical integration to meet and exceed that 50% threshold. In 2005, Nomos achieved a major milestone, the release of its own in-house calibre, the Alpha. Based loosely on the architecture of the Peseux 7001, but produced and finished in Glashutte, the Alpha was the beginning of the Nomos that we know today, with its own manufacturing status. From there, Nomos expanded into automatic movements. In 2014, it unveiled the DUW 3001, a revolutionary automatic calibre that was just 3.2 millimeters thick. Remarkably slim, given its robustness and its accuracy. The movement introduced Nomos's own swing system, a proprietary escapement with in-house balance spring, an achievement few watchmakers in the world can claim. The development made Nomos more independent from Swiss supply lines and underscored the commitment to mechanical innovation. Though the Tangente remains a flagship for Nomos, the brand eventually expanded its lineup with models that preserved its minimalist DNA while offering different case shapes and functionalities. You've got watches like the Orion, which is a dressier, more rounded model, Ludwig, which is a Roman numeral kind of classical design, more formal in looks, the Tetra, a square case, combining kind of geometric charm and simplicity. You've got the Club, which is a more casual, sporty design that tends to target a younger generation. The Ahoy, a water-resistant sports watch, blending Nomos elegance with dive watch functionality, and so on. Nomos has won numerous international design awards, and they're often mentioned in the same breath as companies like Apple and Braun because they produce clean, precise, and enduring designs. The Metro and the Tangente have both earned well-deserved acclaim for how they combine watchmaking traditions and forward-thinking style. One criticism that is frequently levelled at Nomos regards those spider-like lugs that creep out across the wrist. And there is a purpose to this design. It's not one that I always understood, but basically Nomos is encouraging wearers towards smaller dial sizes, and the increase in the lug reach is a way to make a smaller dial more wearable on a broader wrist. So the average wearer might be comfortable with a 40mm dial. In Nomos would be more comfortable with maybe a 36 or a 38. The Nomos aesthetic has never really embraced the big dial culture. It's far too subtle for that. So once you understand that, it starts to make sense. You get your head around that. The smaller dial on a larger wrist, the lug length makes sense. When you try them on, you realize what it's all about. Nomos remains independently owned, and that's a rarity in the watch industry, where we have the big dominant conglomerates like Swatch Group, Richemont, or LVMH. This independence allows Nomos to maintain a unique voice and a long-term vision. It champions transparency, both in manufacturing and in pricing, and it emphasizes sustainability. Consequently, it's the type of brand that people really get into. You buy a Nomos, you're likely to buy another one. You're likely to stay with them. There's a whole vibe. There's a membership to this kind of Nomos identity. One of Nomos's enduring appeals is its pricing strategy. The brand offers True mechanical movements, exceptional finishing, and award-winning design at prices that are significantly lower than Swiss counterparts. And generally speaking, their prices are not connected to where they would sit in terms of the hierarchy of different brands. For collectors and design lovers alike, Nomos represents a gateway into high quality mechanical movements. This approach has cultivated a loyal following among young professionals, creatives, and first time watch buyers, people that aren't generally drawn by status but by substance. While visiting Glashutte, I spent a great deal of time in and out of the Nomos shop that is opposite the Deutsche Uhrenmuseum. It's such a wonderful, unpretentious space that really pushes back against this trend for slightly intimidating boutiques. Although the shop is entirely dedicated to Nomos, I wouldn't call it a boutique at all. You will be received there with a huge amount of warmth and, of course, Scotty, the slightly elderly Nomos rescue doggo, who absolutely melted my heart looking for pets and cuddles. This is where I saw the Nomos Zurich Weltzeit, which is world timer. And if you haven't seen this watch, it's quite something. I'm going to do a full video on this in due course, but effectively, this is the best answer to the GMT dilemma that I've ever seen. And it's available in two configurations. One is known as the Zurich, and one is known as the Club Sport Neomatik World Timer. So they're both absolutely gorgeous. And I'll be honest with you, because I'm quite new to Nomos. I didn't know the difference between these two models, and I thought I was handling the Club Sport Neomatik when actually I was handling the Zurich. Now, this is my fault because I can't speak proper German. And the lady who works in the Nomos shop is so accommodating and is so lovely, but her English and my German are at similar levels. So and it's definitely my fault. Now, I mean, I can speak a little bit of German, like Guten Tag. Ich möchte ein Bier, bitte. Danke. But you can see where the communication problem came from. However, since I've been back in touch with Nomos, they've been incredible, sharing some incredible graphics with me and helping me to understand the difference between these two models. So effectively, both of these models work the same way. You press a button and an inner ring on the dial, like kind of the chapter ring, effectively rotates, and it will place a different abbreviation or name of a time zone to the 12 o'clock position. And then in doing that, it flicks the hands of the watch to display the time as it is in that area. It's that simple. You just press the button, no third hand, no messing about with any of that, and you can just click through the time zones. It's absolutely stunning. The simplicity of it is just brilliant. It looks fantastic, and it's so addictive to just keep pressing the button. This watch, I think in both the Zurich or the Club Sport variations, their advertisers being just short of about £4,000. And basically, they're commonly made available in either silver or in blue. But with the new Club Sport, the Club Sport Neomatik World Timer, they've also released 6 limited edition models in a variety of alternative colorways, limited to 175 pieces in each one. They're all the same price, and basically I want all of them. Just all of them. Literally. I actually do. I've had a bit of a poke round. Now the Club Sport Neomatik is a little bit more expensive on the secondary market because I think it's just quite a new watch. But you can get the Zurich for certainly the low end of £3,000, like £3,200, £3,500, including VAT, if you buy it directly from Germany. I just didn't get it. I was wrong. Nomos are incredibly cool. I don't own one yet, but yeah, it's on my list, and specifically a world timer. So there we have it, guys. I want to throw it over to you guys and see what your experiences have been with Nomos, what your opinions are. Do you own a Nomos? What do you think? Do you think that Nomos is, a kind of a German hype watch, or is it the real thing? Are you convinced? And if you own one personally, what's your ownership experience been? Have you got a Nomos on your chase list? Let me know in the comments. Fire any questions that you like at me. I'll always enjoy coming back to you and answering them one by one. This is the bit where I ask you to help me to grow the channel by giving me a like. Major thing, please. It takes less than a second. It costs nothing. Please do it. And of course, I'd really love it if you would subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon with some more content. I've got so much stuff to get out. So please subscribe to stay in touch and to see more. And in the meanwhile, why not catch up on a previous video that I've made for you? I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, guys.